Of the dozens of interviews that Steve and I conducted, this is the third and final one that I thought would be of interest to No Sleep. It's a very simple story, but for me, also the creepiest. It hits far too close to home. The most remarkable thing about David was just how unremarkable he was. Though a very decent man by any measure, he lacked any distinguishing traits that would have stood him out from a crowd. It was this initial bias that almost made us pass over his story without digging any further. Like many people, David was struggling with the world. His wife Laura had died from cancer 4 years ago, and he was struggling to make ends meet while raising his 2 sons on his own. His eldest, Joel, was 17 and a handful, on the verge of being an adult, and with the typical rebellious streak that made many a father's life a trial. Seesawing between sullen withdrawal or straight-out bursts of teenage angst, he was often as much a hindrance as a help to the household. David often feared that it was just a matter of time before he'd find Joel behind bars, but it was hard to find the time to be the fatherly role model that he wanted and needed to be. David's other son, Adam, was the opposite, but no less in need of attention. 9 years of age, quiet and withdrawn, he was painfully shy and seldom spoke since Laura's death. David always felt guilty that he was not able to be there more for his kids, but he was doing the best he knew how. Parenthood did not come with a manual for him, and he was painfully ill-prepared for it, even after 17 years. Laura had always been the natural parent. In the past year, he had taken out a large mortgage and moved his family to a better neighborhood. Unfortunately, the financial pressure meant that he now had to work 2 jobs to make ends meet. His main role was as a security guard from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m., 5 nights a week. It was the only job he'd known, and he was good at it. Burdened with his larger debts, he spent his other nights stacking shelves at a local grocery store. He didn't enjoy it, but it was money, and there aren't many choices of jobs for when he was awake. In the mornings, when he came home from work and could beat the morning rush hour, he would occasionally see his kids briefly at the breakfast table. Otherwise, he would catch them in the evenings when they came back from school, as he was preparing for his next shift. He was stuck in a vicious cycle of financial slavery that brought him guilt, stress, and anxiety. But we soon discovered that money was not the source of his problem. It had all started a year ago when David came home from a shift, only to find Adam holding back tears at the breakfast table. Joel was in his own world, head banging with his headphones plugged in, obliviously munching down his cereal. Concerned, David sat down next to Adam, hugged him, and asked what was wrong. That only made Adam burst into sobs. Hey, listen, champ, chin up. It's okay. I'm here now. Tell me what's wrong. Adam opened his mouth, but after several moments, failed to say a word. Hey, buddy, if you don't want to talk about it now, let's chat about it when you come home from school today, okay? Whatever's wrong, we'll fix it. David comforted Adam tenderly. He gave Adam his lunch money, walked both his sons to the door, and watched them as they set off for school. Exhausted, he took off his shoes and went straight to bed. That evening, when his sons returned, David wanted to continue his chat with Adam. Please stay home tonight, Dad. Don't go to work. Please. Why, champ? Is something wrong? Is Joel hurting you? Adam nervously shook his head. No, it's just, please stay home, Dad. Don't go to work. David chuckled softly. I wish I didn't have to, son. I wish I could spend more time with you boys. But there are bills piling up, and someone needs to put food on the table for growing boys. I can't trust your brother to do that just yet. I can't even trust him to know what a can opener looks like. He ruffled up Adam's hair and kissed him lightly on the forehead. Do your homework, then get to bed, son. I'll see you in the morning, okay? A few weeks later, as David was preparing dinner, Adam returned home from school with a bruise on his face. David glanced at Joel, who only rolled his eyes and gave an "I had nothing to do with it" shrug, before slouching off to his room. Hey, buddy, what happened? Are you being bullied at school? Your teacher called today. She said she was worried because you haven't been having any lunch for the past couple of weeks. Is someone taking your lunch money? Adam simply shook his head and pleaded again for his dad to stay at home. The following week, David was woken from his sleep by loud poundings at the front door. Groggily, he opened it to be confronted with inspectors from Child Protective Services. Adam's teachers had noticed more and more bruises on his body. Coupled with his lack of lunch, they were deeply concerned that David was abusing him and keeping him malnourished. David was shocked and outraged with indignation. He responded that they should be investigating the school for allowing his son to be bullied, assaulted, and robbed while the teachers did nothing. After several hours of intense questioning and searching every corner of the house, the agents found nothing conclusive. They left with a warning that they would return if there was any indication that Adam continued to be abused. It was with weariness and concern when David was again interrupted in his sleep by the phone. It was from the principal's office, and they wanted to see him immediately. Rushing to the school, he found Adam with his head bowed, sitting next to a fuming family. Adam had been caught stealing $10 from another student. When confronted, he had lashed out and hit the other child. David apologized profusely and made Adam do the same. David wondered where he had gone wrong as a parent. When they got home, David sat Adam down and simply said, "Adam, I'm very disappointed in you. I know I haven't been a good father. I know I haven't been around for you as much as I'd like, but I try. God knows, I try to do right by you. I would have expected this kind of behavior from Joel, but not from you. What's he asking you to do while I'm not around? Did he make you do this?" Adam again shook his head, choking back tears. "Dad, please stay home with me. Please don't go to work tonight," he pleaded. "Why did you do it then? Why did you steal that boy's money?" "Because I didn't want you to have to go to work tonight. I want you to stay with me." "Son, look, you know I have to work." Before David could finish his sentence, Adam jumped up and ran to his room, with tears streaming down his face. He returned a few moments later, cradling a tattered shoebox in his hands. Removing the lid, he gave the box to David. Inside were a collection of coins and notes, several $100s in loose change. Every single dollar that David had given Adam to buy his lunch. "See, Dad? You don't have to work tonight. I've been saving your money. Is this enough so you can stay home tonight?" David was speechless. It was his turn to burst into tears as he pulled Adam in close for a tight hug. "Of course, son. You're my boy. Of course I'll stay home tonight with you. I've been a bad father. I haven't been here enough for you. Tonight, we'll do whatever you want. Anything." Adam looked his father in the eyes for several moments, as if trying to find the right words to say. Finally, he stuttered out, "Dad, I just want you to watch over me while I sleep." David was a bit surprised by this request. Sure, buddy. Are you sure? Why?" Adam stared down at his feet for a few more moments, almost too embarrassed by the reason. Almost imperceptibly, he whispered, "So the skeleton man in the ceiling won't get me." David called in sick that evening and watched as his son slept. It was an exceedingly odd request and completely frightening. But then again, what 9-year-olds don't have overactive imaginations about the dark? David didn't find it an unpleasant task, though. He had not watched Adam asleep since he was a few months old. He had forgotten how much he missed it. It brought back a whirlwind of memories. The first night Laura and Adam came back from the hospital. The lullabies David would sing to make Adam sleep. How he watched Laura tuck the boys in every night. Adam and Joel had both grown up so quickly, and he spent so much of his life away from them that it seemed he woke up one morning only to find strangers at the breakfast table. He missed Laura terribly and wished that she was here to watch their boys grow. He missed the way she made smiley faces with the eggs and bacon in the morning for the kids. He missed coming home to her warmth that made it feel like home. He definitely missed how her lips tasted of coffee when he kissed them when he returned from his night shift. But more than anything, he missed talking to her. He needed her to tell him that he was doing a fine job, that she would be proud of what their sons would grow up to be, that she would be proud of the sacrifices he was making so his kids could have a better life. He knew that he needed to be there more for his sons. The night soon faded as the first glimmers of sunlight streamed through the window. Adam slowly woke to see David still watching over him, smiling, eyes still moist with tears. "Morning, champ," David beamed. "Good morning, Dad." Adam rubbed his eyes. "Is everything okay?" "Everything's great, son. Did you sleep well?" "Yeah," Adam yawned. "Did anything happen last night?" "No. I watched you all night. You slept like a baby." David smiled again. "You're a good night watchman, Dad," Adam joked. "Huh, yeah, I'm the best, buddy. But it's also because there's no such thing as monsters under your bed or skeletons in your ceiling." "Yes, you're right," a voice hissed. David's heart skipped a beat as he watched Adam gasp, staring at something behind his head. David could hear a scraping sound above him, like bones scuttling rapidly against the wood. quickly turned around, just in time to see the remains of a dark figure darting from the ceiling, out the door, and a fading voice whispering, "See you again soon." David still chooses to work the night shift. It's the only way he can be sure he's awake for it, if and when it returns.